Hello, I'm your Kingdom, Spiritual Transformational, and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker. And I'm popping in on you to tell you they are in a state of confusion. They are in a state of confusion. And so, Kingdom people, first and foremost, I just want to say that there are charges going out against you. There have been charges going out against you. You have been accused. And what's happening is some of the people that you are being accused to, in other words, there are some complaints going to certain people. And many a times these are people of affluence and influence, people in high places, people who matter, people in high positions, people who make decisions, um, people who, they can actually determine not your fate, but can in some ways determine or do some. They have positions of authority. Put it like that. And so, what it is, Kingdom people, is the people that some of these your enemies, those ones them that's trying to bring you down. They're accusing you. They're making accusations about you, or they have, and the people that have made them to, some of them, and the ones that I'm speaking of, they don't see the accusations to be true. They don't, and in fact, what they're actually accusing you of, for real, is actually a good thing. And so, Kingdom people, I want to take you all to Acts chapter 25, we're going to first read verses 17 through 22. Then we're going to move forward to verses 23 to 27 because it's quite a bit. And so we're going to start with Acts 25, 17 through 22. And it says, when his accusers came here for the trial, I didn't delay. I called the case the very next day and ordered Paul brought in. But the accusations made against him weren't any of the crimes I expected. Instead, it was something about their religion and a dead man named Jesus, who Paul insists is alive. I was at a loss to know how to investigate these things. So I asked him whether he would be willing to stand trial on these charges in Jerusalem. But Paul appealed to have his case decided by the emperor. So I ordered that he be held in custody until I could arrange and send him to Caesar. I'd like to hear the man myself, Agrippa said, and Festus replied, you will tomorrow. And so, Kingdom people, here, Paul was being accused. He was being accused, but he was being accused of claiming that Jesus was still alive. And so they wanted to condemn him. The people, citizens and within the land wanted to condemn him. And so they brought him to Festus, who was to Felix. They brought them to the one who was in charge there. And he couldn't find what he when they brought the accusations about Paul. It says here that the accusations wasn't what he thought they would be. It says, but the accusations made against him weren't any of the crimes I expected. Instead, it was something about their religion and a dead man named Jesus, whom Paul still insists is alive. So that was confusing to Felix because Paul wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't committing a crime. And so it was very confusing. And so it is with your enemies that are bringing accusations to people because they want them to condemn you. They're trying to condemn you, and they're trying to bring others on board to condemn you as well. But when the people that they're making these accusations to, view you and see what's going on, and maybe in some of your cases question you, perhaps depending on the situation, they're not finding anything wrong. They're not finding that you're doing anything wrong because you're not. And so the difference here is that your enemies are actually saying that you are doing something wrong. But when the people come to view you or see you or communicate with you to see what's going on, they realize you're not doing anything wrong. In fact, they realize you're doing so much so right. That's what they realize. And so it's confusing to them. They, in a state of confusion as to why you're being accused, but you're not doing anything wrong. You're not even doing anything wrong. Well, let me say, they started at a state of confusion. Many people eventually realize what's actually going on. I don't want to go too much into that, but I will say this. Jealousy is a lot of what's going on. And sometimes people just want to bring you down. Again, out of jealousy. People don't want you to move up, so they go make these accusations. And to try to, again, bring you down or keep you from moving forward in whatever that is for you. But the people that they're bringing these accusations to, they are looking and they're seeing, they're in a state of confusion because they like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're actually doing a good job. You're actually doing things that are great, So going on to verse 23, it says, so the next day, Agrippa and Bernice arrived at the auditorium with great pomp, accompanied by the military officers and prominent men of the city. Festus ordered that Paul be brought in. Then Festus said, King Agrippa and all who are here, this is the man whose death is determined by all the Jews, both here and in Jerusalem. But in my opinion, he has done nothing deserving death. However, since he appealed his case to the emperor, I have decided to send him to Rome. But what shall I write the emperor? For there is no clear charge against him. So I have brought him before all of you, and especially you, King Agrippa, so that after we examine him, I might have something to write. For it makes no sense to send a prisoner to the emperor without specifying the charges against him. So, King of people, this tickled me when I read it because it says he don't even know what to write because he don't even have no charges to write. When you send a so-called prisoner or a prisoner, someone who's considered to be, well, he was a prisoner, but he really ain't had no business in jail. But, of course, God allowed it because, that's what God do. But anyhow, because he has his purpose in these things. But he didn't even know what charge to write against him because there really wasn't one. He didn't even want to write that the charge was that he believes in Jesus and he's saying Jesus is alive, because that sounds stupid. It's stupid. And he wasn't doing anything wrong, so it wasn't a real charge. And so he didn't want to be silly and send him over to Caesar, the emperor in Rome, writing a charge that was ridiculous. And so, King of people, the charge against you is ridiculous. And the people, these particular people that they're trying to, bring you before, so to speak, to charge you, to condemn you, to be done away with you, they don't even have, it's nothing. It's nothing there. It's leaving them in a state of confusion because there's nothing there. You are not doing anything wrong. Doesn't mean you're perfect, of course, King of people, but for what they're trying to charge you with, what they're trying to condemn you for, what they're trying to come against you with, the things that they're trying to get you in trouble for, so to speak, it's nothing there. So it's leaving the people in a state of confusion. And I'm speaking of those who are in authority. At first, it leaves them in a state of confusion. So anyhow, King of people, I thought about this morning. God brought to my attention how it's a person that I should be a loved one, was a loved one, and I say was because I found out that the love really wasn't there like that, like it should have been. And I say that because when people have these spirits on them, these demonic spirits on them, they have that spirit of jealousy and a spirit where they don't want you to move forward in life. That takes away the love. I mean, you can't see that. The love is not there. I say it that way because some will call it love and hate. But to me, if you love and hate, I think the hate, that's the fact that the hate is there, is a problem. So anyhow, this particular person was on me, and God was just bringing them to my attention that something had recently transpired to where I had to pull myself away from them even more. Actually, what happened was I had initially created some distance between us because I had to, because they were compromised. They had unclean spirits, and I had been seeing it for years, but it had just gotten worse and worse and worse to the point that God just was like, it was just what was transpiring. It was like, And then I also found out it was deeper than, it was just deep. And so what happened is, since I've distanced myself, this person does little things to try to engage me. And so, this last time I just kind of disengaged. I didn't do anything because it has gotten to the point where it's just ridiculous, and I'm not engaging. I'm not playing with this, demonic spirit. I'm just not going to do it anymore. It's just over with, And then since this person keeps going and allowing this thing to, use them, I'm not with it. So anyhow, God brought to my attention how this person is looking. They have this thing that they do where it's like, and how like a parent, can look at you, even a grandparent or whoever, authoritative figure in your life, especially when you were a child, would look at you, give you a certain look when they meant business. This is how this person was looking. It is a look that they do that I've seen. And this is a parental figure. And so anyhow, God was showing me this is how they were looking. This was their disposition or their posture, so to speak, in response to me not engaging at all, just nothing at all at this point. And then God took me back to when I was younger, and some things had transpired when I was a teenager where I had to remove myself from this person because they just was mishandling me. And I removed myself. I didn't want to be around anymore. And this was an attempt, at this time it was an attempt to reconcile, but I was like really adamant about not really wanting to at that time, because I was young, I was a teenager. I was still hurt over what had happened. And not just that, but it was a violation. And this person allowed someone to violate me and was okay with it, and still had a relationship with this person. But they had this posture back then. And I remember seeing it with my own eyes, like, if I was a child misbehaving. And the thing was, I was a child that was not cooperating with the misbehavior of them, is what really was happening. And so God was just showing me all this. And so it was weird. What the whole point in all this is, the thing is that how, I'm just kind of, because it's tripped out. People's tripped out. People, let me stick with this first. I was being handled as if I was wrong and I need to behave, even though wrong was being done to me. As an adult, this person still has this disposition, but I'm not a child, and I don't have to go along with their bad behavior, not even bad behavior, demonic, devilish behavior, because that's what it is. This is a person that don't want me to move in the things of God. And just like Paul, or very similar to Paul, this person is right now, their position like that is all surrounding the fact that I won't let them stop me from moving forward in God. as if I'm wrong for moving forward in God. So, kingdom people, it can be the same thing with you. You know, people want to hold you back. People want to stop you. They're making these accusations towards you. They have this stance and this position, like you a kid, which you not, and you're wrong for not allowing them to keep you from moving forward in God. They're trying to make it seem like you're wrong, like you're doing something wrong. And again, going back to Paul, he stood for Christ. He was simply saying Jesus still lives. He's alive. He was crucified, but he rose. And they wanted to do away with him for that. And he was doing nothing wrong, but the way they were behaving was as if he was misbehaving. He was like he was doing something so wrong, and they wanted to condemn him. And so the whole thing is that people want to condemn you for doing the right thing. And it leaves people, certain people in particular, and certain people in authority, because we know sometimes these people in authority be on one too. But in this case, I'm speaking of the ones that ain't on all that crazy, and they're in a state of confusion, or they started off in a state of confusion, because it ain't making no sense for them wanting to condemn you, for them wanting to charge you for doing what's right. Kingdom people, they are in a state of confusion. Ain't that confusing? Oh, that's confusing. And that's all I have to say about that. So, kingdom people, if you like this video and if it resonates with you, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Then click on that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. Make sure you click on that bell so that you can receive a notification every time I upload a new video. If there is any information you need to know about me, you can find that all right down below in the description box, along with other helpful resources. Kingdom people, thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for all your likes, subscribes, your shares, your comments, and feedback, for all your contributions to my channel, for all the seeds you sow into me and my ministry. Thank you for all your bookings, for all of your purchases. Kingdom people, thank you for everything that you do here. Thank you, Kingdom people. So, kingdom people, I love you all so very much. Y'all know I really don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold my kingdom people down. Now, kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you in all things at all times. Kingdom people, we are untouchable, we are unmovable, we are unbreakable, and we are unstoppable. That is my time. Jesus girl is out. Peace.